Hey everybody, we're back. If you joined us just yesterday, you saw that we made some red sauce, very simple recipe that we made. And through the comments, there was a lot of people that were requesting pizza, right? Pizza's a little bit harder, and the reason being is because the biggest part, the most important part to the pizza is actually the dough. And so what we're going to do tonight, we've already made the dough. Let me show you, right? And I know you wanted a pizza dough recipe, but what we're going to do, we videoed the dough making, which once this video is over, we're going to go ahead and post the dough recipe and the instructions. It's a video, right, on YouTube. We'll send that link out to you once we're done. But for tonight, what we're actually going to do, we're not going to go the pizza route. And I know some of you who requested yesterday are saying, but we're actually going to do some calzones. Same thing, right? It's just an enclosed pizza. That's all it is. So if you saw on the video that you see for the dough recipe, at the very end of the video, you see that we made two dough balls, right? They were sitting in there. They were about so big. If you look now, they've actually tripled in size, which is good. But for the sake of calzones, if you don't know what a calzone is, it's just basically a wrapped sandwich. Now you have all these other places that are making crazy types of calzones with all kinds of unnecessities in it. Right now, that's not how it goes. The true necessity of a calzone, in my opinion, is the dough, is the ricotta cheese, right? Some of you call it ricotta, right? It's kind of white there. Put a little bit more up to, ooh, yeah, look at that, that's nice. You got some good old mozzarella cheese that we grated up earlier today. And then you got sausage, right? That's fennel sausage. That is Italian sausage with fennel in it. If you can't find it, there's actually a place in New Braunfels you can go and get it. But for this recipe tonight, we cooked it up already. We chopped it up. We have meatball as well. We have some black olives. And we have some pepperoni. These are other guests in my house tonight. That's what they wanted in their calzone. We've already made one cheese calzone, which I'll show you a little later. But we're going to go ahead and start. So I want to show you, there's two different doughs in this Cambro, right? We've got a full-size dough, and we've got a half-moon-size dough. So what I've done, I actually took this full-size dough, cut it in half. And that's what we're going to use for just one. This will make a pretty large calzone. This is just some flour. Going to put it on the surface. To prep our surface, I'm going to take the half moon shape of the dough, and this is what I want to do. I want to show you. So I'm going to bring it back around to make a circle, right? That's basically what I did. So I took a half dough and turned it around and made a small dough. That's basically all I did. Take the small dough. What I'm going to do is make sure that it's connected on both sides. Get some flour, put it on the top, and that's it. So now we just have to flatten out as big as you want it. Now you don't want to make it too thick. Too thick won't cook right. You want to make it probably about 1/8 to 1/4 inch thick, depending on your oven. And as I'm doing this, I want to explain to you that a lot of you probably make pizza at home. Some of you, yes, Kevin, if you missed it a little earlier, Kevin, I actually said that we made the dough recipe, we videoed it, and after this video is done, we're actually going to post it with a link. So, with that being said, Mr. Palmer, let me continue with this. As I'm flattening this dough, I wanted to inform you that if you do make pizza at home, if you make calzones at home, you make any type of Italian-based delicacy, right? Pizza and calzones, basically. You could be strombolis if you want. The most important thing, other than the dough, is you got to use bricks to cook it in. You got to use bricks. Now let me show you something. I'm going to move this real quick because I want to show you what I'm talking about when I say bricks, right? So here's my oven. I'm going to open it up. If you look, I've got bricks lined on the bottom of the oven. That is very, very, very important. Very important. Okay? Now, obviously, I went out and I got some industrial-sized bricks, meaning that those are actually, they are made for making barbecue pits outside, for lining pizza ovens and stoves and stuff like that. I actually took them, they're little 4x8 size bricks. You buy them, you put them in the oven, Once you're done, they cool off, you take them out, and every time you want to make your pizza or your calzone, you just put them right back in. That's basically it. So we got about a 12-inch diameter pie here. Okay, it's nice and fluffy. Okay, it's not sticking to my hands. You can stretch it a few ways. You can use the old pole and turn. Okay, you can kind of push it back and forth on your hands if you want. Or if you want, get your rolling pin out and roll it out that way. That causes a nice even thickness, if you will, all the way through. I myself just like to hand stretch it. Now right now, it's probably about 1/8 of an inch thick. I want to go just a little bit thinner, okay? Kevin, if you have 2 ovens, it's okay, just line one of the ovens. Calzones are not going to be that big anyways. Well, I say that, but end result is probably about 14 inches wide on these calzones and about 7 inches in height, in thickness. So what I'm doing now is I just want to make sure that all of the dough is kind of even. And if you notice, sometimes you'll have thicker sides than others. But for the most part, we've got a nice round dough. The reason I make it round is because after we put the fillings in, we fold it in half. That makes a nice half moon shape, which is what a calzone should have. Sometimes they curl it a little bit at the end, but it's looking pretty good so far. All right. Just feeling out the dough, making sure there's no big spots. Got that done, right? Now, what we're gonna do, this is another necessity if you're gonna start making pizzas at your house. Let me show you. You need a pizza paddle. Really hard to do big things, such as this, if you don't have a pizza paddle. In this house, we make 20-inch size pizza pies. Calzone's a little bit smaller, but for tonight, it'll work just fine. Now, what you want to do, get some cornmeal or some flour. I use a little bit of both. Put it on there. This is just so the dough will not stick to the paddle. Okay, take the dough. Look, did you see that? Bet you missed it, didn't you? Got a little rip in there. It's okay. Take a couple of pinches, close it. It's going to happen, right? Put the dough on there. This is what you want. You want to make sure it slides pretty good. Okay? Now, here's the important part. Ingredients, right? Start of all calzones. You got some nice ricotta cheese. You can get it at any supermarket. Best thing to get is whole milk. Don't get part skim milk. That stuff's nasty, all right? Get whole milk ricotta. Put this on here. Me and my family, we like a lot of ricotta in our calzones. So I'm going to put about, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of a cup into the pie. Let me push this back a little bit there. There we go, about 3/4 cup. And you got to take the mozzarella. What are we asking, Kevin? About everybody knows the rules. All right, here we go. Got the mozzarella. So this right here is about 1.5 cups of mozzarella. Okay, so I'm going to take it. I'm going to kind of spread it right over the ricotta cheese. Okay, I'm going to get, yes, another 2 handfuls. Okay, again, over the ricotta cheese. Another thing with the mozzarella, most places only sell part skim mozzarella. If you can find it. Every once in a while, Costco sells the whole milk. That's what you want. Part skim's good. I just prefer the whole milk. Big difference in taste. So, here we go. We've got the cheese on it. Now, this would be a cheese calzone. If you wanted to add stuff like meatballs, you wanted to add sausage, you want to add black olives and pepperoni, you can put them on the bottom of the cheese. Usually that's how we do it here, but this is just the cheese calzone, and then I'm going to make another one for you over here that is the meat calzone. All right? So this is what I'm going to do for now, so we can cover this up later. What you do now, you're going to get a little bit of oregano, okay? Get a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic, throw that in there. Then we're going to fold it in, half moon, right? So you're just basically pressing down the sides till they all come together. Now this is where you make it pretty, right? Check this out. Okay, there's a half moon size. Get your little pizza cutter, right? Just cut off just some of the edge, not too much of it. You probably want 3/4 to an inch that you press down, okay? Now here's the important part, okay? I'm gonna roll that around to the side. This is where you're gonna fold the dough. Give that nice little artistic side, right? So you take it, and I'm just basically pulling it over my finger and pressing it. Pulling it over, press it. Pull it over, press it. This creates a nice little edge. It's not necessary, you don't really have to do it, but it certainly adds a nice touch. People eat with their eyes, right, a lot of the times. So, this is what we're doing. Nice, very nice, beautiful, beautiful. Look at that, half moon size. If you want to get kind of authentic, you kind of pull around the edges that way. Now, this is not necessary, but I highly recommend it, Mr. Daniel King. Okay? Get a little bit of egg wash. Get an egg, maybe about 3 tablespoons of water. Mix them together. Okay? Then what you want to do is you just want to coat the dough. This will give it a nice brown, olive-skinned, if you will, color. Okay? You want to get in some of the creases, some of the folds. No jokes. Alright. Now that we got that done, I'm going to throw that right there. Last step, get a little knife. You want to make a couple of air pockets, okay? So it can breathe. If not, it's going to bloat up on you. Take it. Make sure you get the little, it's moving back and forth. Watch it wiggle, right? That way it comes off into the oven. Now let me move this camera around so you can see the oven action going on here, right? Okay, here we go. It's going into the oven. By the way, oven is set at 425, okay? At 425 degrees, you're gonna have to preheat your oven up to 30 to 45 minutes ahead of time because those bricks are gonna absorb that heat very, very fast, all right? Here we go. Bam, bam, done. All right, now, let's get started on the calzone with some of the toppings, or innards in it, I should say, right? So we're gonna go back to Mr. Big and Sexy. I'm gonna take my little knife, I'm gonna cut it in half. And the reason being is because that would have made a really big calzone. But I take it, put it on my table here. Same step as before. I'm going to bring it around to make the circle, right? Connect the ends so it makes a mini little pie. Beautiful, right? Turn it over, make sure everything's connected on the back side. Then, doing this all over again. I'm just repeating myself here, people, all right? Get a little bit of flour, put it on the surface, put one side down, get some more flour, rub it in, there we go. Now we start to compress it just like we did earlier, right? Again, if you want to take out the rolling pin, take out the rolling pin, that's fine, you can do that. But, wait a minute. Kevin Palmer, I don't do cheese. We'll leave that one there, buddy. I know that I've talked to you about this before. There is rehab. It's okay. All right. Take this dough. We want to spread it out. I know what you're thinking. You want me to throw it, right? Well, you can't see. I want to throw it like 25 feet up in the air. We'll do a little throw. Here we go. Another one. There we go. Nothing like all these dust particles to get in the dough, right? So we're stretching out the dough. Looks nice. I want to put a little bit more flour on there because I don't want it to stick. I don't want to put too much flour because then that causes the dough to crack. So you want to keep that moisture in there. So here we go. I'm going to stretch it out a little bit with my hands. Nice and delicate, just like you're touching a flower. You don't want to be too crazy. Getting crazy causes tears, people. You don't want tears in your dough like we did with the other one. So here we go. Now making sure that it's kind of even all the way through. That's a good size. You think that's a good size? I think it's a good size. All right. What's the steps before? Cornmeal or flour. Don't put too much flour on here because when you start doing multiple calzones, multiple pies, you're throwing them in there, the flour gets onto the bricks and it starts to smoke. So you want to be careful. Right? Just throw a little bit, just enough to get it nice and smooth. I'm going to take the dough, throw it on the board. What's next? You remember? The ricotta, right? Get some ricotta. Going to put about, I don't know, again, about half a cup. Sounds good. Throw about half a cup on there. Oh, look at that. It's nice. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Here we go. Now the ricotta's done, we want to get some of the diced mozzarella. Again, cheese is good, Kevin. Cheese is good. Grab it, put it over the top. And you know what? We forgot a step. So this is what we're going to do. I forgot the meats. Okay? So, here's what we got. We got meatball. These are some of the meatballs we cooked up last night, by the way, with the red sauce. Ooh, so good. Okay, we got some meatball, got some black olive. Put some black olive in there. And last but not least, we got some pepperoni. You can put as much as you want, put as little as you want, it doesn't matter. I usually put, I don't know, a good dozen or so. Alright, now remember, we only put just a little bit of cheese. We want to put some more cheese in there. What do we got? What are people saying over here? Sanuch, what's up? So we're going with the two hands of the mozzarella again. Go right over the top. Throw that back in there. It was a little too much. This is going to be a nice calzone. Oh my gosh. All right. Folding the dough over the top. Pressing down. Oh, this is a beautiful sight. A beautiful sight. Nothing like cooking. Nothing like cooking. All right. So we got about an inch that we're pressing down. If you remember from a few minutes ago, we grabbed a little dough cutter. Just taking the very edge off of it. That's all we're doing. Taking the very edge because we want to create that nice little ripple effect with the dough when we're turning it around, right? So remember, oops, we got a little stuck right there. There we go. So we're going to move it around here, just like that, so we can start folding it. That's a monster calzone right there. Start folding the edges in. Look at that, nice little clamshell effect going on. You don't have to do this if you don't want, but it adds appeal. Okay, clamshell effect all done. Don't forget the egg wash, right? Throw that egg wash on there, make it all nice, golden and toasty. While we're doing this, I'm going to check on the one that we put in earlier. Looks good. Can throw some more of the egg wash on again. I highly recommend the egg wash. It just allows even browning. Even browning. If it doesn't get brown, maybe you didn't put any water in it, maybe you didn't put enough, maybe it evaporated too quick, who knows? Maybe your oven's too cool, who knows? But I'll go back to what I said before. I set my oven to 425. And it takes about 15 minutes to cook one of the pies, or a calzone in this case. Take the little cutter again. We're going to create some vent holes in the top. And that's all she wrote. And here we go. I'm going to bring this down here so you can see the oven again. As I'm doing this, what I want you to notice in this beautiful oven, right? Here we go. So I'm going to take the calzone that was in there before, you see it? I'm just going to move it over just a little bit, just slightly. And the reason being is because we're not going to take this monster I'm going to push it in there. Man, it's a beautiful sight. All right. This is the cheese calzone we had out earlier. Look at that. That's beautiful. Nice. We're going to cut this up here just a second. But before I cut it up, you see here in the Monteverdi house, we like to eat our calzones with some sauce, right? What kind of sauce do we like to make? Very simple. Crushed tomato. That's all you really need. You may want marinara. If you say ranch, I'm going to smack you. As my wife laughs. But that's all it takes. So we're going to get some of this red sauce and put it in a little cup. I'm going to cut some of that calzone up. And we'll be ready to go. Let me show you this real quick. We got that calzone. Get a little side of red sauce. That is how we eat here in the Monteverdi house. We ready to go? Now, listen. For those of you that asked, I'm going to finish this video. I'm going to go on to the little internet stuff. I'm going to post the link to the recipe for the dough. So if you want, give me a few minutes. Come back. Look down below in the comments. I'll post the video for the making the dough recipe. It's about 4.5 minutes. You may like it, but that's it. You're welcome to come over. We're going to cook probably 3 or 4 more calzones. You're welcome to eat with us tonight only. It's a little before 6 o'clock. We hope to see you then. Anything else I can help you out with, just let me know right in the comments. I'll do my best to return that. We love you. Bye-bye.